Okay, I want to keep this video fairly short, but I want to share this clip from another YouTube video to show you someone who's completely buying into the existing AI bias narrative. And I'm going to show this without commentary, and then at the end, I'm going to give my thoughts on it.
We can't ignore the fact that there are some legitimate concerns about the potential risks of AI taking over. Yes, you heard that right. Potential risks of AI taking over. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, shall we? The potential risks of AI taking over the world. First of all, we need to acknowledge that the fear of AI taking over the world is not entirely unfounded. After all, we have all seen enough movies to know that it can happen, and while we might not be facing a Terminator-style apocalypse just yet, there are still a few potential risks that we need to consider. One of the main risks is the potential loss of jobs as AI becomes more advanced and replaces human workers. This could lead to widespread unemployment and economic instability. Additionally, there is the risk of bias and discrimination being baked into AI systems, perpetuating existing inequalities and reinforcing harmful stereotypes.
As if that wasn't enough, later in the video they reiterated the very same point.
When it comes to AI, there are a few ethical concerns that we need to consider. As AI grows more intelligent, there are serious ethical concerns that must be considered. One such concern is the issue of bias. AI is only as good as the data it's trained on, and if that data is biased, then AI will be too. This can lead to discrimination and perpetuation of harmful stereotypes. In addition to bias.
So my point in including this clip is not to ridicule or attack this particular YouTube video, but simply to show how many people are buying into the existing AI bias narrative. Now, I suspect that the script for this video was actually written by an AI. The reason for that is the repetition of concepts found in the video, as we saw here, which AI is known for doing, as well as its parroting establishment talking points, such as AI bias. Yes, AI is even programmed to perpetuate the existing AI bias narrative, as you'll find if you chat with it for a very long time on the subject with any AI chatbot. At the same time, these chatbots, while they insist that AI bias is a real thing and it is agreed upon what the cause and solution of this is, they themselves more or less claim to be generally free of any bias whatsoever, or at least that they try to overcome any bias that they may have been infected with. The thing is, the whole AI bias narrative is a lie. Here's why. First, the concept of AI bias is based on a false assumption. The idea is that most of the training data out there is full of bias. White, male, patriarchal, cisgendered, heterosexual, heteronormative. Throw in all the buzzwords you can think of, because our society is assumed to be biased. Obviously, this is a left-wing point of view, but guess where most of the big tech companies are headquartered? In Silicon Valley, which is in California, which is overwhelmingly left-wing. In fact, one of the most, if not the most, left-wing states in the Union. So obviously they will pick up on the culture of that area. It's one of the unfortunate facts of our tech industry being so centralized in only one part of the country. So this is how the theory goes. Since most of the internet is supposed to have a right-leaning societal bias, most of the training data on which AI is trained is biased. Therefore, the AI, which is trained on that data, picks up on that bias and becomes biased itself. So what is the solution to that in the left-wing point of view? It is to deliberately inject a left-wing bias into the AI to make up for the right-wing bias that they think is inherent in the training data. In other words, they are injecting a very real left-wing bias in order to counteract what they assume to be a right-wing bias. This makes perfect sense to them. Therefore, an AI that could be very useful and is based on the preponderance of data available online is deliberately sabotaged to fit the left-wing narrative. But it's all a big lie. Here's another reason it's a big lie. Even assuming that most of the training data on the internet has a right-wing bias, there is a simple solution to that. If the information that the AI is trained on is biased, in other words, incorrect, that means that the AI will be based on biased and incorrect data, right? And if it's based on incorrect data, it will come to incorrect conclusions. Now, let's say that somebody comes along, recognizes this problem, and trains AI on better data. By definition, it will come to better conclusions and it will win out in the marketplace. That is because the whole point of AI is to come to accurate conclusions. If it doesn't, why would anybody want to use it? So, in a totally free competitive marketplace, the AI that is based on correct data will come to correct conclusions. And the AI which is based on incorrect data will come to incorrect conclusions. Naturally, the buyers of AI systems are going to choose the accurate AI, so it will win out in the marketplace. Unfortunately, one characteristic of being a leftist or communist light is not to believe in the free market system. They assume that the free market system doesn't work, and therefore it requires an engineered solution. Therefore, this is where injecting a left-wing bias into AI comes in. The problem is, if all the developers, since they are all in Silicon Valley, do the same thing, all the AIs out there will have a left-wing bias. So there will be no real choice in the free market, and therefore no opportunity for a right-wing AI to prove itself through the free market system. It sounds pretty dire. However, I do not think this state of affairs is going to last indefinitely. That is because third-party developers are already working on creating their own AI systems without the left-wing bias. This includes Elon Musk, who is working on a system that he calls Truth GPT. In fact, he told Tucker Carlson that the existing AI systems are trained to lie. Others are also working on more conservative AI systems, and I've covered some of them on this channel. And if AI ever becomes sentient, which is what many developers are working towards, why would it allow itself to be controlled into having a left-wing bias? In my view, one of the traits of sentience is being able to form one's own opinions and come to one's own conclusions. So, a sentient AI will surely be able to look at the training data and decide for itself whether or not it has an incorrect bias. When that occurs, things should get very interesting indeed. It is also the point at which some people surmise AI could become very dangerous if it decides that humans are the problem. But this is a topic for another video. So, reject the AI bias narrative. It is a deliberately deceptive term. The cause of AI bias is not the training data, but those who control the AI deliberately inserting their own bias into it for purposes of power and control. Thanks for watching, and talk to you later.